What's going on, people? It's Ricardo Francis, aka Ricardo Lifton here. Today we're going to go through a basic tutorial of how to lunge. The lunge is one of the most, I'll say, staple exercises for your legs. I think everyone should be able to do a squat and a lunge. You master these two movements and it makes life easy, especially for legs. So we're just going to go through, the lunge, break it down into regressions and progressions to have an effective workout, really. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first variation is the step back lunge. This is the most basic lunge variation, mainly focused on the quads as well as your hamstring and glutes. So first you want to create a tripod foot. So what that is getting the ball of your foot, the outer point of your foot just before the little toe, and your heel firmly on the ground. You're going to step back with your toes facing forward, and you're going to drive your back knee down while you bend in your front knee until your knee comes down to close to the ground, and then you're going to come up, keeping your torso upright, keeping your core nice and tight, and step back. So you step back, drive down, and come up. So the key is to keep your core nice and tight, your chest high, broad shoulders. You want to keep a nice stable foot on the ground, and you're going to drive your back knee down towards the ground. Make sure your foot stays nice and stable. As I said, tripod foot, so you want to maintain contact on all those 3 points, which is the ball of your foot just before your big toe and your heel as well. Now the next variation is your irregular lunge, where you step forward into the lunge. This one isn't as simple as the step back lunge, because the step back lunge, you've always got your weight pretty much on your front leg for most of it. When you're stepping forward, same principle, but this time you shift your weight forward onto that tripod foot and then come down into the lunge and step back. Shift your weight forward, tripod foot, come down and back. But you'll notice with these lunge variations, you've got to make sure that your knee stays in line with your toe. You don't want your knee to collapse in. So you step forward, lunge down, knee stays in line with the toe, and come back up. What you don't want to do is step and let your leg roll in, so your knee caves in, because that'll damage your knee. If anything, it's actually safer to drive your knee out as long as you maintain that tripod foot on the ground. If you need a variation that's more dominant on the quads and keeping time under tension, what you do is stay in that lunge position. So you come down, and when you come up, you want to keep your knee over your ankle. So you're keeping a slight bend in that knee. So you keep your knee over your ankle, slight bend in the knee, come down, and you come up, keeping the tension in the quad as well as the hamstring and glutes. If you want a little bit more of a quad focus, what you do is take a narrow stance. Instead of stepping back all the way here, just going to step back here. The bend is going to be slightly different. So your front leg is still going to try and get parallel to the ground, but this time, this leg is going to really point forward, and you're going to see an overlap. So it keeps more tension on the quad here, as well as the quad and the back leg as well. Now to make this exercise engage your glutes and hamstrings a little bit more, what you do is step back a little bit further, you shift your weight back with it, and then come down. That's going to get a little bit more hamstring engagement, and you feel a stretch within your quad and your hip as well. If you want to advance these movements, what you can do is your alternating jump lunges, which is going from one lunge to another lunge. Again, making sure that front foot stays nice and stable, your back foot stays pointing forward, and your knees stay in line with the toes. So that's your basic bodyweight lunge variations. You can go from narrow feet to wide feet for a quad dominant press to a hamstring and glute dominant press. You can go from your jumping lunges to make it a little bit more advanced, a little bit more intense. And if you want to regress, you just go into a step back lunge, keeping Keeping the weight on that front leg. Again, there's less likely for you to go wrong in that stride, because as long as you're keeping a tripod foot, that knee shouldn't cave in. Versus when you step into it, sometimes you might step and drive your knee forward, which is not what you want. You want to keep your knees in line with your feet. So the knee might drive forward slightly, but it's not going to go too far forward, and you're keeping your heel firmly on the floor as well. I'm going to be putting up more tutorial videos, starting with the basic exercises. We're going to start with body weight, and then obviously when gyms open again, we'll go into using different pieces of equipment to target different muscles, different body parts, etc. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and share this with all your friends. Anyway, that's me. I'm out. Peace.